Hi, my name is Bill Dunn. I'm the McCracken County PVA. And first of all, I wanted to thank you for using the online form to submit an appeal. This technology is certainly helpful for us, and I assume that the property owners to make the appeal more thorough, quick, and useful. I want to go over a few things for anyone submitting an appeal online to help you and explain what we've done, why we've done it, and so forth. The duties of the PVA, we are to assess fair market value as best we can for all properties in the county. That means about 34,000 properties. We have to do this, supposed to do this every 4 years. As many of you may know, many properties in the county haven't been assessed in 10, 15, literally 20 years. So some people are seeing big increases in their assessment. That's because normally you would see an increase in your assessment maybe every 4 years in a stair step, what we call a stair step method. And what we mean by that is over the course of the past 20 years, you'd see an increase in your assessment about every 4 years. Small increases, a few $1,000s, a couple $1,000s, something like that. Instead, because we're actually reassessing the whole county, that means a lot of people's property are being reset, their assessment, their value. And what I mean by that is the assessments are significantly different from last year's assessment because this year's assessment is a true assessment according to current market value. So what I'm getting at is whereas you would normally see a stair step increase, a small increase as I mentioned every few years, now you're seeing a significant increase because there were no stair steps over the last 10, 15, 20 years. You're seeing big jumps, and that's because the assessments haven't been done at all or correctly over the past 10, 15, 20 years. So, moving on, how we assess property is pretty simple. It's not an overly complex method. We take the recent sales, the last 2 to 3 years sales is ideal, and we find the median, not the average, the median, which is the sale in the middle. We take those sales. We only use arm's length sales. That means fair cash sales. So if it was an auction or a foreclosure or an estate sale, we don't use those. We throw those out. So from the recent sales in your neighborhood, we take the median of those sales and we multiply that median, which may be an example, $75 a square foot, $85 a square foot, $125 a square foot. There's one neighborhood that's $172 a square foot, as I recall. So we take that number, we multiply it times the size of your home, and if we know there's a condition problem with the home, we may take off from that. So we take the price per square foot, the median, multiply it times the size of your home, and then we split that value up from there. Or and sometimes we'll add extra items like garage, barn, metal building, pole barn, swimming pool, things like that. So, but the first thing that we do is find out the median price per square foot in your neighborhood, multiply that times the living space in your home. I should specify that as well. That's the living space in your home. So that does not mean we take that number and multiply it times, say, 576 square feet for your garage. We don't include the garage. That's included in the price per square foot most times, unless it's a detached garage and that's additional. So that's how we calculate your assessment. We took the median price per square foot in your neighborhood, multiplied it times the size of your home, and then we add in other things like any detached buildings like the garages and pole barns and things like that. And for swimming pools, we typically use 5 or 10% of the value of the home. And that's how mass appraisals are done. Appraisal that you would have done by an appraiser is actually done quite a bit differently. They actually go out and get 3 similar homes to yours, and they come up with a range, and then they determine where in that range your home is valued at. So what we're doing is a mass appraisal. If you want something much more accurate, then you want to call an actual appraiser and pay them their fee for an appraisal. The first rule of real estate is location, 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 or the first 3 rules, I mean. So um, when we're determining that median price per square foot, we are going from different subdivisions to different neighborhoods, different tax districts. In the county, we tend to use a tax district. Unless it's in a subdivision. If we're doing a subdivision, then we use sales from that subdivision. If we're doing a city neighborhood, we will try to use sales from that actual neighborhood. Unless there's not enough sales, and we may spill over to adjacent neighborhoods and include those. Common errors that we have are, like I mentioned, how the calculation is done. The size of your home. That happens all the time. If we can get the size of your home determined or on file accurately, then the assessment is probably going to be pretty accurate. And we see that all the time. We'll have someone bring in an appraisal, and it'll be pretty close to the number that we calculated. Sometimes it's a little high, and that's why someone brings in an appraisal to lower the assessment slightly. Examples of incorrect measurements typically are houses that have basements. Sometimes we think it's a finished basement, and it might not be a finished basement. We calculate homes with basements a little differently. Homes that have a bonus room above the garage. Sometimes we think it's a bonus room, and we find out it's not a bonus room. It's just studs. There's nothing there except for storage space. So those are common errors. And again, as you might have heard me mention before in some news interviews with WPSD, the Paducah Sun, West Kentucky Star, and whatnot, we haven't been inside your home. So we don't always know if it's outdated or if it's in excellent condition or if you have a roof leak. We just don't know. We're doing the best we can to determine value, and you are one of the checks in this system. That's why we mailed you the assessment notice, so that you can provide input and determine if your assessment is correct. And if it's not correct, then it's your responsibility to tell us that we're wrong, why we're wrong. The technical part of the system, the legal part is we've explained to you how we've calculated your assessment, and it's up to you to tell us why we're wrong, that we're wrong, and why we're wrong. If you come down to the office or call and you just say you're wrong, that's worthless. You need to tell us why we're wrong. That's why the system is set up the way it is. If you can tell us why we're wrong, we're certainly glad to listen to you. But if you just come in and say we're wrong, you don't provide a valid reason, you're not helping yourself. And we want to be fair. That's our job, is to be fair and treat everyone fair and equal. And what that means, fair and equal, it means we treat everyone fairly. So if you come down and you explain to us that our assessment is wrong, it's our duty, it's our job to listen to you and listen to your explanation. And what we mean by the equal part in fair and equal means, you remember how I told you we do mass assessments and we took that number and multiplied it times your assessment or times the size of your home? So that median number times the size of your home. That's how we calculated everybody's assessment in your neighborhood. That's where the equal comes in. Whenever we come up with a policy for determining someone's assessment, that means we do that for everyone in your neighborhood and everyone across the county usually. So fair and equal, that's no joke. We really treat everyone fair and equal. Okay, so you're fixing to fill out the online appeal form. In the appeal, there's different ways to approach this. One of those is with an appraisal. If you've had an appraisal done by an appraiser the past 2 or 3 years because you just bought the home or you had it refinanced, or whatever reason you may have had it reappraised, by all means, send us the appraisal. That appraisal is very valuable, more than what you believe, because you probably paid $350, $400 for it or more as part of your refinance or your home purchase. But it's going to save you some more money in taxes by sending us that appraisal. So if the appraisal value is less than what we assessed it at, by all means, send it to us. We'll review it. We'll check our characteristics of your home, make sure our characteristics are correct, because that appraisal is probably more accurate than what we have, because we haven't been inside your home. The appraiser has. So he has more accurate measurements of your home than what we have, because he's been inside it. An example of that is the garage. We can measure how wide the garage is usually on a home, but we don't always know how deep it is. We estimate that. So that's a common source of problems right there, how deep the garage is. So besides the appraisal, another example of a good information, or another option for appeal, is your insurance information. If your insurance says your home reconstruction value is, say, $200,000, and we have it assessed at $225,000, submit that to us, and we might accept that as the assessment, $200,000. The reason for that is they're not going to buy it for $225,000 when they can build it for $200,000. So there's the appraisal option, there's the homeowner's insurance replacement option. Comps, if you have the ability to come up with the comps somehow, you can use our website to find comps. Our map is free, and you can look up comps for free. There's a lot of other information that we actually sell on our website that's not free, but you could purchase a subscription on our website for as little as $10 if you wanted. So comps, homeowners insurance, appraisal. Now another option is if you have damage or very outdated items in your home that will affect the value of the home, you can submit that as well. We certainly appreciate photos. That helps alleviate any doubt. I had one homeowner today submit photos and a description of outdated old items in his home. As a former realtor, I know that when someone is looking at purchasing a home, they're going to look at the kitchen, the bathroom. If they're outdated, they're going to reduce what their perceived value of your home is. If you've got a roof that's 20 years old, that's going to count against you too. If you've got a heating and air unit that's aged, again, 15, 20 or more years old, that thing could quit working at any time, and a buyer is going to consider that. They're going to reduce your asking price by the age of those items. So condition. So appraisal, homeowners insurance, comps, condition description. That's the most options that are common, I guess. I should say common, not most. So there's some options for you when you fill out the appeal form. So I hope this video has been useful, and I've given you plenty of information that describes how we do our job, why we do our job, and the information you should submit with the online appeal. And again, you're plenty welcome. You're part of the process. We mailed you that assessment notice for a reason, to give you the opportunity to tell us if we're wrong. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, call me, or anyone else in my office. Our phone number is 270-444-4712. My email address is Bill, it's my name, bill.dunn, that's DUNN, at ky.gov. Bill.dunn at ky.gov. And I thank you for submitting the appeal through the online form. Have a good day.